Coronavirus, ban wildlife markets to prevent future pandemics, says UN biodiversity chief. The message we are getting is if we don't take care of nature, it will take care of us, Elizabeth Maruma Mrema says. Nature always wins. Chinese government is gonna ban it but won't actively go out and enforce it guaranteed. Not just wildlife. Remember the swine flu and bird flu? Factory farming is also a source for these pandemics. Removed. China doesn't give a fuck. Tell me about it. There was a report in 2009 from a bunch of Ivy League guys that said wet markets in China are a ticking time bomb and will cause a global pandemic. Bush laid the foundation for pandemic preparation and mentioned the importance of it in speeches in 2005. This wasn't a surprise to anyone that's been paying attention to China. The problem is every civilized government in the world has become dependent upon the cheap labor and materials provided by China. Nobody has the balls to stand up to them. If every developed nation issued a complete travel ban to China until their wet markets are totally eradicated, they would all be shut down within 30 days. People don't want to hear it, but animal agriculture has been some part of so many viruses in so many different ways, and we aren't even talking about the antibiotic resistance being built up by all the shit we pump into cows, chickens, and pigs. Stop the wildlife markets most definitely, but that's not even close to enough. Animal agriculture is not sustainable. End of story. LOL, no. China. /s. Humanity needs to reconsider its relationship with the natural world entirely. I doubt it will. Yet I keep thinking about how pissed vegans must be about all this. Last few major epidemics have all been related to eating meat. Best to prepare like mad for the next pandemic because, well, China is going to continue doing this, and most likely will try to replace this UN chief with one of their people. Banning Asian wildlife markets and not banning Western abuse of antibiotics, https://www.scientificamerican.com/article/how drug-resistant bacteria travel from the farm to your table/ in factory farming, about which epidemiologists have been raising the loudest alarms for years now, is quite hypocritical. Ban both, or we'll have much worse than COVID-19 in the future. That picture is fucking terrible, the poor creature can't even move. Fuck these wildlife markets and anyone who shops at them. Start with China. How much more of this shit do we have to put up with? Good luck enforcing China to do anything, I doubt that ever happening. The world needs to have a sit down about China like they did with Germany after WW1. Edit, I meant WW2. Sorry, lack of sleep. Yeah, they kinda banned the international trade of pangolins decades ago. China doesn't give a bat's undercooked ass, in case you didn't notice. Yeah, let's ban it like we banned whaling because that stops outlier countries from doing it. More like if we don't take care of China, it will take care of us. If the world is willing to sanction countries based on their human rights abuse, desire to acquire weapons of mass destruction, etc., then we're also willing to sanction countries that is likely the cause of this pandemic. Without removing the base of China's economic strength, manufacturing, is the only way to stop these activities. Just going to post below the list of items that you can buy at the Huanan Seafood Wholesale Market where the COVID-19 virus started according to Wikipedia. Give the list a look if you have not yet. This market is the size of your average football stadium and has 1,000 plus vendors. Since COVID-19 is the second pandemic out of this type of market, please allow me the honor of saying a very hearty fuck you if you ever buy or sell live exotic meat for bullshit medical practice, and I would like to extend this hearty fuck you to the Chinese government for allowing this practice to continue through today. Badgers 22. Beavers 23. Camel 322. Chickens 24. Civets 25. Crocodiles 3. Dogs 25. Donkeys 22. Emmental cheese 26. Foxes 3. Giant salamanders 3. Hedgehog 26. Herbs 26. Koalas 1227b. Marmots 24. Ostrich 7. Otters 25. Pangolins 28. Peacocks 3. Pheasants 8. Pigs 22. Porcupines 3. Rabbit organs 29. Rats 3. Sheep 22. Snakes, including Bungarus multicinctus, 30. Spices 15. Spotted deer 29. Turtles 19. Vegetables 19. Wolf puppies 3. Are they not already banned? This thread went from "we need to ban wildlife markets" to "no one should ever eat animals" really quickly. Something I've never understood about people in the illegal animal trade and poachers is why they are so uncaring to the damage they cause to ecosystems and entire species. Do they know what they're doing has obvious consequences? If there's a hell, they are going straight there when they die. After SARS they didn't learn a thing. How? And if they don't ban them, it's only a matter of time before the next outbreak, which undoubtedly will originate from another wet market in China. Time to take action. 11. Please don't send uniformed guards to my house later. That thought had crossed my mind. We're not smarter than the system. Not that we are talking about anyone in particular, but we are definitely talking about someone in particular. People say it's racist to blame China. We saw the consequences of the markets with the SARS epidemic. They banned them, then not long after lifted that ban. Now here we are today. Something makes me think it won't be long before they lift the ban again. There should be a huge consequences of this. Complete sanctions and isolation for China. If they don't stop their backward and barbaric practices. If they want to join the globe, they need to adapt. I hate how this has been too hot to touch lately. You get called racist or xenophobic when calling out these markets. But all the experts agree that these markets are a problem and will continue giving us these viruses. And after saying that this is where someone will usually go, well, factory farming is bad too, so if America can do that, China should be able to do what they want to do too. Which is completely irresponsible. First off, I didn't defend factory farming, but since they are forcing me to, I will say, how many pandemics have stemmed from factory farming in the US? Then I like to ask how many pandemic-causing viruses have come from China. At that point they stop replying. I think they refuse to answer my last question for fear of becoming victims of their own logic. If they answer the question truthfully, then they are admitting that China has some explaining to do, and they try so hard to be sensitive to other cultures that they forget to hold them accountable. It has to stop. Deleted. I'm not a vegetarian, but I'd still really like to see a ban on farmed meat in totality. Removed. Why are clowns pretending that there's precisely zero difference between eating a pasture-raised sheep inspected closely by a vet for disease and eating a random-ass wild animal stacked below other shit-dripping cages? Do they think COVID-19 came from cows or something? Can't believe these markets are back open again. Like what the fuck, China? People are dead, stop eating this shit for fuck's sake. I agree that this should have already been illegal, but I'm not sure people will follow suit until they find a way to feed or pay them in equal value. It took the government offering to buy refined sewage oil from poor people for more than they would earn using it to make food before they could finally get that issue under control. Has nothing to do with some voodoo nature cult philosophy. It's simply China's negligence and malfeasance that is directly responsible for the destruction of livelihoods and the deaths occurring worldwide. China knows with 100% certainty that these wet markets are causing endemic and pandemic level events and continues to allow them to set up shop and operate freely. Did we really need a pandemic to know treating animals this way is bad? I mean skinning animals alive because their fear makes the meat taste good. China's the biggest shithole country. They'll ban those wet markets real fast if companies start pulling out of China en masse, which I bet happens for supply chain risk concerns.